Welcome back, YouTube. Today I'm installing a new door latch slash power lock actuator on a Chevrolet Silverado. Now this truck actually does have the pass lock system on it, which is the security system, which when you'll see later where that comes important. There is a different door latch slash lock actuator for the pass lock trucks as opposed to the non-pass lock trucks, so you definitely need to guide that when you order it. Here I'm just taking the door panel apart. The first thing you do, if you go through the trim panel tool, you can pop the buttons off. There's also a piece around the handle you need to pop off, and that's going to expose your screws that actually hold the door panel, the interior door panel, to the door itself. Those are generally right around the door handle on any vehicle. Sometimes you'll have them. Some vehicles actually did put some screws down the bottom, but most of the newer vehicles just some push retainers. Or in this case, they use a hook that you have to lift the whole door panel up to unlatch. Or there are multiple hooks, excuse me. On this, I did pop the little bin that's in the door out just to make sure there wasn't any screw, which there wasn't. So that's not necessary, but just be careful, because all these little plastic retainer clips, if you're not careful when you pop them loose, you will break them, and some of them are not the easiest to find at a parts store. But now that all the screws are out, I can actually lift the door panel off. But before you can do that, what I'm doing now is removing the trim piece that is right behind the mirror, and then it'll come loose. In this case, some other wiring. There's a light in the door that I had to disconnect. The door speaker is actually built into the door, so wiring for the door speaker you don't have to worry about. Some trucks did have a dome tweeter, and I think this too, that is built into the panel that is just below the buttons on the door, and that has to be unplugged. But once you get those unplugged, you can just set your interior door panel off to the side. Guys, so here in just a second I will have the door panel all unplugged. I just sit it off to the side, pull the plastic back, and now you're down inside the door. You can see the lock assembly right in the top of the frame. There are 3 screws that retain it from the outside of the door directly around the catch. Then there are 3 electrical plug-ins and 4 rods, I believe. I'm trying to remember now. I think there are 4 rods that actually run down to the assembly. One for the lock and unlock button, one for the interior door handle, one for the exterior door handle, and one for the exterior door lock, the key lock assembly. So detaching those rods, each one of them attaches in a slightly different manner. There's, I think, 2 of them that just pop out. One of them has a half-turn retainer where you turn it, or quarter-turn retainer, excuse me, you turn it 90 degrees and then you pull the rod out. The other one actually uses a adjustable clip, and that one, the easiest way to get it loose is to take the door latch assembly, get the other 3 off, take the screws out, and then you can go in through the hole where the catch bolt go into the door and pinch the back side of it with some needle nose pliers and push it through. That one you need to mark, because the adjustable that clips to the right is supplied using an AC Delco latch, and you want to make sure you get it back in the same spot. This is one of the quarter turn retainers, and you just flip it off to the side about a quarter turn, and then you can pull the rod directly out of the hole that it rides in. Now, I apologize if the video is a little jumpy or a little fast, excuse me, I had to speed it up a little bit because there was a lot of here, and I didn't want you guys to have to sit through a half-hour worth of video to see how to change a door latch. Now, the one closest to us is the old one. The second one back is the new one, and this truck had a pass lock system. So with the pass lock system, you get a whole new latch assembly. The third one that was sitting there on the table that's behind those is for the non-pass lock trucks, and it does not have the indicator to tell the security system whether the door is locked or unlocked. So it will not work with these. And with the pass lock system, in this case, you just swap out the whole latch assembly. The other one, you would just swap out the electronic lock motor. You reuse the same latch. So there is the clip that I was pointing to. They give you that thing was much easier to get off once I got the latch out of the way. Now we're back inside the door, and I'm putting the new latch in. Once I got it in place, I got the 3 screws started from the outside, and then I was able to get the rods back where they needed to go. It did take a bit of fidgeting with it to get them in the right places. And here again, I apologize because the lighting inside the door was not very good, and my hands are in the way most of the time because there's just not a whole lot of room. But make sure you get all your electrical connectors plugged back in, and get all your rods back in the proper spot. Now at this point, you can see right there's that yellow clip. That's the adjustable clip. I've already got it clipped in, and I just use my marks to line it back up. The other ones, you really can't tell. It's very hard to see where they go this angle. You can see one off to the lower left hand side, and then the other 2 are higher on the latch. Unfortunately, there's no way to describe this. It is a bit of a chore getting it in there. Now at this point, I have everything inside the door buttoned up. and I'm just tightening the screws down. Like I showed you, make sure you get some Loctite on them. I can't stress that enough. Now here I'm going ahead and plugging everything back in, or the switches back in, just to make sure that the locks and the window and everything functions properly. Nothing's binding up. Keep in mind you did move the rods around, so if you accidentally got one of them in the way of the window, it's going to give you trouble. Make sure you get the plastic stuck back up there, because that does seal the door. It helps to keep dust and moisture out. Now I'm putting the door panel on. This is all just reverse. You just reverse the disassembly process at this point. Just make sure before you latch the panel in place, you pull your wires for your door buttons back up through the hole. Otherwise, you'll have a heck of a time trying to fish them out, or you'll have to take the panel completely back off to get to them. And there, also keep an eye on that lock button that's up in the top, because that lock button can fall out of there, and then you'll have to go back through and fish it back out. But at this point, it's just a matter of getting it all put back together, making sure everything works properly. And on this vehicle, the reason we replaced it was the actuator was getting weak, so you would actually have to hold the lock or unlock button down to get the door open. And the owner was just there. He's an older gentleman and got tired of having to crawl through from the passenger side to unlock the driver door, which I don't blame him for. So unfortunately, the new lock assembly was fairly expensive. That the AC Delco with the pass lock on it was I think it was about close to $300 just for that latch assembly. So anyway, guys, I hope this video helps you out. Do me a favor, give it a thumbs up. Don't be afraid to get out there and get your hands dirty, and I will see you on the next one. Have a nice day.